All right, what's up, everyone? This is my first style video like this. So first off, I apologize if I sound a little awkward or if I ramble or whatever the case may be. It's my first time making a video like this. I'm excited though. I'm recording this 3-4 hours after the game. I did stream after the game, Kick and Twitch, Frizzy. If anybody wants to drop a follow, but I'm a little late, so if I'm a little rusty on any plays or anything I say, that is why. I'm definitely a little late, but I want to do more videos like this. And I'm just getting over a sickness also, so if there's any cuts or if I cough or my voice sounds a little off, that may be why. But this is my first video like this, so let's get into it. I have some notes written down here that I wanted to cover about this game that I wanted to talk about. Just my thoughts, my reactions. I am a Knicks fan, so definitely want to get some stuff out there. Starting out by saying that the Pacers are a great team. I think they surprised a lot of people this year in the playoffs. Surprised almost everyone. I think, especially me. The Knicks beat the Celtics, and I thought the Pacers were going to be a much easier matchup. Obviously not. Obviously that's not the case, and it's tough when a team like the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Pacers, they play 10 guys a night, and that depth really does kill. It's really hard, especially against a team like the Knicks who don't play a lot of bench guys. It's hard when on any given night, whether it's T.J. McConnell, whether it's Obi Toppin, whether it's tonight Benedict Mathurin, anybody can give you 10 plus. Benedict Mathurin had an awesome game tonight. 20 points he had in 12 minutes. And it's just so hard to win a game when there's so many different players that can drop 20, drop 15. That was the first note that I had. Benedict Mathurin, 20 points. It's hard. But getting into some of my notes here, I thought that the New York Knicks defense was very poor tonight, very bad. Specifically, Tyrese Halliburton ball screens. It is a couple hours after the game, so I'm not fresh, but I definitely recall multiple possessions where there's a ball screen set on, the New York Knicks on the defender guarding Tyrese Halliburton, and either the Knicks are slow switching, slow communicating, or Karl-Anthony Towns or whoever it is drops into drop coverage, and Tyrese Halliburton gets around that screen and has a wide open lane to the paint. There were multiple times where Tyrese Halliburton had a free lane to the paint for a layup. Many times. I actually want to go back and look to see how many times. Well, I remember watching that, and I thought that's ridiculous, just taking advantage of the horrible ball screen defense from the Knicks. And you just can't have that. You can't give a star player a wide open. You can't give anybody a wide open lane in the NBA. And we did that way too much against Tyrese tonight. And I say we, I am a Knicks fan. Part of the reason why I started doing this. And then another, a couple other, bullet points that I have here on my notes. Josh Hart. Josh Hart, first off, had 5 turnovers. I thought Josh Hart was horrible tonight. He did have a double-double, some great rebounding. But I don't think that tells the story. Josh Hart was bad. 5 turnovers. And I don't know. I have to go back and look. If I had to guess, I'd say 4 or 5 of those turnovers were him getting a rebound, going down the court, and just throwing the ball away. And you cannot let the Indiana Pacers run up and down the court, especially, transition. They run regardless of a made basket or miss. But when you're turning the ball over, that's where you get killed. And 17 turnovers from the Knicks, it's not going to win you the game, especially not against the Pacers. And I thought Josh Hart was very bad with his ball security. Way too many times he threw the ball away. And I just think Josh Hart is a problem on the court for the Knicks. He's not a great offensive player. He can't shoot. Hurts the spacing. He has been shooting well, this playoffs, but overall not a great shooter. And he does not match up well against any of the Pacers players. When he gets switched on to Siakam like he did multiple times tonight, it's a guaranteed bucket for Siakam. Josh Hart's giving up 4 inches in height, 3-4 inches. And he's just not a great defender, and he's not a great offensive player. He gives you that hustle. I love Josh Hart, but he just wasn't great tonight. And I think there was many other players that could have gotten more run. Specifically, I have DeLon Wright written down here on my notes. He played 9 minutes. He was a plus-minus of +11 in those minutes that he played, those 9 minutes. I don't know why he didn't play more in that second half. DeLon Wright looked amazing. Just Tibbs stuck in his ways, I guess it may be. And I thought DeLon Wright should have played many more minutes, especially in that second half. He looked great, and I think Josh Hart should have been the one that should have been on the bench for DeLon Wright, or even Deuce McBride, whoever it may be. Josh Hart did not look great. I also have written down, last game, Jalen Brunson went to the bench and Karl Anthony Towns took over the game. And it looked like in tonight's game, there was some like uncertainty with the Knicks on who's going to be that guy down the stretch or in general, who's gonna lead us and handle the ball majority of the time. Obviously Brunson as the point guard is going to have the ball, but it just looked. I have Brunson / Cat question mark on my notes because the offense looked so uncertain of who that guy was going to be, whether it was Brunson or Cat, and it just led to both of them having a decent game, but the offense just looked stagnant. And I think that's a common theme with the Knicks where there's not a lot of ball movement. It's Jalen Brunson dribbling till 5 seconds left in the shot clock. It's Josh Hart taking a bad shot at the end of a shot clock. It's not getting into the offensive rhythm, the flow that you should be in for having the talent that you do in the starting lineup. OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, very talented players who can shoot the ball well, get into the paint. Mikal Bridges got that fadeaway jump shot. OG Anunoby is a strong body who can get into the paint and throw it down. And the offense just never looks like it's playing to its full potential. That's a common theme throughout the year, I feel like. I don't know if it's a coaching thing with Tibbs, first year maybe with all the guys together, but the offense never really lives up to the potential it has with the players that the New York Knicks do have. And I thought tonight, like I said, the Knicks looked very uncertain of who that guy was going to be down the stretch. Siakam was a problem. 30 effortless points. It's hard because Siakam, we don't have anybody to guard him. Especially Josh Hart. Like I said, he gets switched on to him. It's over. Josh Hart's giving up size. Everyone's giving up size to Pascal Siakam. And then when you have, Cat on him, it's a mismatch. Karl Anthony Towns is a horrible defender. And I have to go back and look, but I think OG Anunoby should have maybe been that guy on Pascal Siakam more. Or even Mikal Bridges. I don't know if they did guard him, a lot. It's been a couple hours. I have to go back and look. But Pascal Siakam's been a problem and is a problem. We can't stop him. Like I said, the 17 turnovers were horrible tonight for the Knicks, especially against a team like the Pacers. And then I also have a bullet point down the refs. I hate to be that guy to complain about the refs, and I don't think that the referees played a role in the outcome. I think the Knicks would have lost either way tonight, but there was a stretch where in that fourth quarter, I think it was, the Knicks had 5 foul calls against them in a row in a less than a 45-second span. Maybe it was. And it was horrible. And when that happens, it kills a team, and especially when they're not calling it fair both ways. I felt like there was a lot of nitpicking fouls against the Knicks tonight. And then one play I remember specifically, OG Anunoby got a pass down low by the rim, goes up for a dunk towards the end of the game, and gets clobbered from behind. Pause. But and no call. So the referees definitely did not help the Knicks tonight. Even Reggie Miller, who how he is on the broadcast. He was even stunned by some of the nitpicking calls tonight. I do think the Knicks would have lost either way. They did not play a great game tonight, but the referees definitely were not fantastic. And overall, I don't have too much confidence. I think the Knicks are capable of coming back 3-1. Especially with having 2 games at home, but it does not look great right now. Tibbs and his lineups are not great. Like I said, DeLon Wright, I feel like should have played way more minutes than 9. Josh Hart played more minutes than, Mikal Bridges did. The same amount of minutes as Cat and Brunson. I don't think Josh Hart should have been out on that court as long as he was. He's just a defensive liability and an offensive liability. Much rather have the shooting of Landry Shamet, Deuce McBride, especially, and even DeLon Wright. Much rather have them out there. They're better defenders and better on offense. You do lose that grittiness, that heart, no pun intended. I love Josh Hart, but he's not great. He's not great, specifically, maybe against this team. It's hard. He can't really switch on to anybody and hold his own. And on the offensive end, he's not great. I think Miles McBride and DeLon Wright should have played, way more than they did. Again, Tibbs just not adjusting the way that I think he should. Mitchell Robinson only 19 minutes as the starter, which, to be fair, Mitchell Robinson could be gassed with conditioning, but didn't love that. And just one more point, which I know I touched on before, but I'm going to be reviewing some film on this, and I'll have another video out. Those Tyrese Halliburton ball screens were terrible tonight. Just terrible. Way too many times he had an open lane. I'm pretty upset about that. And there was many times where I was yelling at my TV and watching the game about those screens. But yeah, just not a great game. that's pretty much what I had written down for my notes tonight. I am a little late to making this video, so the game's not that fresh in my mind, but it's not a great game. Not a great game. New York Knicks offense looked questionable. Didn't look like we had it tonight. And then the 17 turnovers definitely did not help us against this Pacers team. And Pacers team's good, man. They are good. Do I think they can beat the Thunder? I don't think so. I don't think they can beat the Thunder. But they certainly stack up, equal in the way that the depth is just unreal. The fact that you can play 10 guys a night is just it's rough. And yeah, I am a Knicks fan. I got the Knicks hat on. Hopefully Knicks in 7. You never know. Teams have came back from 3-1 before. It's happened. But things don't look great for the New York Knicks. And that's my reaction to the game tonight and some of the points that I had. Again, this is my first time making this video. Hopefully you guys, enjoy this style. I'm hoping to have more videos like this in the future after some of these games, these reactions. And I'll definitely will be breaking down some film from this game and the past games that I haven't covered. So hopefully you guys will tune into that. I love doing that. And yeah, Knicks in 7. I'll talk to you guys soon. I just ended the video off, but I totally forgot I wanted to touch on this. But I don't know if it was the last 3 minutes, the last 2 minutes of the game, wherever it was, doesn't really matter. But Mikal Bridges' shot selection and his shots in the last couple minutes of that game were horrible. The Knicks have the clutch player of the year in Jalen Brunson. And in the last couple of minutes of the game, there were way too many possessions where it was a Mikal Bridges fadeaway three-pointer, a fadeaway deep 2. And those were just not even close to the best shots the Knicks could have got at the end of the game. And I thought that was terrible. And that's one note that I had that I completely forgot to mention, but I wanted to get that point in this video, is that the shots at the end by Mikal Bridges were terrible. Those fadeaway shots were horrible that he took. And I think that the Knicks could have had a lot better of looks at the end of the game, or even a better player taking the shots in Cat or the clutch player of the year, Jalen Brunson. And I really did not like the shot selection of Mikal Bridges at the end of the game, those fadeaway shots. They were terrible to end the game off. And I just had to press record again and get that point at the end of this video. That really upset me at the end of the game. I thought the shot selection by Mikal Bridges was terrible. And that's another thing that could have been a lot better and potentially made the game closer. Or, who knows what would have happened if some of those shots were better and may have fallen. But Mikal Bridges' shots at the end of that game, terrible. Terrible. Could have gotten so many better looks for the New York Knicks. Those fadeaways were not it. And I had to get that in the video. Sorry for the cut. Knicks in 7. Talk to you guys next time.